right? Drew had Drew's been in the media a little bit in the media, but now he's been the talk of the media because of him coming back. Ain't happening. Not coming back. Not going to be playing for the Saints. Dennis Allen, I think the Saints had a golf tournament or something, and the Saints, Dennis Allen had an interview and saying that, I think he said that in jest. I think you're right, Dennis. I think that's what happens. He was joking. He wasn't being serious. He also mentioned playing the senior tour of golf. I feel like every athlete that's pretty good at golf talks about, I'm going to make the senior tour. But none of them can. I mean, golf's hard, right? And then he talks about being a pickleball champion.
Be awesome.
Like, he's not, like, he's enjoying his time. He's going to be in the media doing something. I think we all agree on that. But as far as his old team and our team that we like, Saints, I think they set themselves up to be in a really, really, really good spot, right? Like, they've proven that they can beat the Bucs regular season.
Yeah.
They own the Bucs, right? They were 4-0 the last 2 years against Brady in the regular season. I know Brady won the postseason, right? They beat the Bucs last year without Jameis. Defense got even better. I think the defense is better this year than they were last year based off who they've added. They have Tyron, who I know you lose Marcus Williams. We had this conversation. Would you rather Marcus Williams or Tyron Matthew?
We already had this.
Tyron Matthew. Not because Marcus Williams isn't good. Tyron Matthew is very good, but I'd rather have the leadership. You got Marcus May. Now you have two safeties. Now you flipped your safeties. Instead of having Jenkins and Williams, you have Marcus May and Tyron.
Hey, I'll just say this. Just think back a little bit here. So, Jameis Winston led the league in touchdowns and interceptions on a Bucs team that
went 30-30.
That went 8-8, right? That year, correct?
Yeah.
They finished the season 8-8. The next year, the Bucs win the championship. I wouldn't say that this is exactly that Bucs team, but I would say that we might have a slightly better offense when it comes to skill position players, right? It's hard to imagine the Saints not scratching double-digit wins this year, not threatening for the division lead, not in a playoff situation.
I put the over. I put a futures in over 8 wins. Like, I have that.
It's hard to imagine that, right?
You could see you saw the improvements Jameis made last year as the season progressed, right? You had Jameis at the beginning of this. Now the first game was an anomaly, right? He had a great game.
8-8 and Jameis threw 30 picks. 30.
First person ever do that.
You could just cut that in half.
You go 12-4.
I mean, come on now.
You go 30 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, you're in the Pro Bowl.
5,000. You also had 5,000 yards.
And he threw 5,000 yards. Yes. But you saw it last year when he started. First game of the season, that was a crazy game. He didn't throw a bunch of yards, ton of touchdowns, deep ball, whatever, right? And then after that, you had some not so great moments, some great moments, but there wasn't the interceptions. You were not having the turnovers that you had in the past. He wasn't fumbling, he wasn't throwing picks.
Too, when you have I've said this for a long time. I don't know how much people agree with this. It is what it is. Drew was great for the Saints offense. Believe it or not, whether you agree with it or not, I personally think Michael Thomas was the biggest asset to that offense. When he was gone, you had no one that's running these intermediate routes that's winning pretty much every single route.
He's going to catch everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
You didn't have that anymore. So you no longer had – so Drew's not a deep threat guy. Drew didn't throw that. You didn't have the intermediate guy. You didn't have a tight end. Who were we getting the ball to?
Alvin Kamara.
So that's it. So my point is when it was like, hey, Drew's out, we're not as good. I'm like, nah, Michael Thomas is the one that's really killing.
No doubt.
Right. He's not in there and healthy. He's back. You added a jack of all trades with Olave. That's a rookie. It might take him a little bit to come on. It might not.
Because he runs great routes. That's my thing.
You added him in there.
Yes.
You added another, literally in between the numbers, dog in Jarvis.
And a leader.
If he can
Right.
If he can stay healthy. You still got what's his name? The tall guy that came back.
Tre'Quan Smith, Marquez Callaway.
You still got them two. You still got the little guy. I mean, good Lord.
You have this is the most offensive talent they've had in a very, very, very long time.
So my point is if Jameis could do what he did there, if he could cut the mistakes down just in half.
But he did that. That's my
I know.
point.
I'm
that's
just
my
saying
point.
over a season.
Right.
Not over a 6-week span. Over a season, if you can cut that down in half. How can they not win 10 games?
That's my point. I think that
Depends how long Kamara's out for.
Yeah, right, but even if look, Alvin's I'm not saying that you can replace him, you can't. But even if he is out, you have enough weapons around the Saints to be able to manage that for the first let's say 4 weeks. So if he's out for 4 weeks, first 4 weeks, because you still have Ingram, who is still in a fit now. If he stays healthy, when he's healthy, he's fine. You have the outside, you have the threats on the outside now, and you have a guy who everywhere on this field is available. He has this big enough arm to be able to make any throw on the field. Right. So now you stretch the field lengthwise, and it opens everything up for the runners. I think that the Saints are in a really good spot. I think that you saw last year the adjustments he made as far as like understanding the games and processes and reading defenses and making the reads and getting out there quick. And he got hurt, which I don't think it was a good thing that he got hurt, but I think he's made it into a good thing. I think he said, okay, I saw the improvements that I made. I saw how good that we can be without the talent that we have. I see the talent. They believe in me because they gave me a deal, and now I'm rehabbing. I'm working my ass off to get even back. So he's still hungry to do that. He's not getting complacent.
I'll say this, like over the past,
he's a great soundbite, but he's a very cliche guy.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's okay. I think he's a genuine.
That's why I love him.
Yeah, I think he's a genuinely good person.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
No doubt.
But if you think about like the past 15 years, and you think about the height of Drew's career, it's when Drew was stretching the field like vertically, right? Like
Colston.
But how did he do it? Marcus Colston was running deep comebacks and you had Jimmy Graham over the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't have to throw outside the numbers, which is where most guys will stretch the field at. Jimmy was at his best. It's hard to find a guy like Jimmy that can do that. But now you have pretty much all of that with a bigger arm.
Here's my thing. Olave, right? We drafted Olave, right? Why do we draft Olave? He has top end speed. He can take the top off, but he's an elite route runner, right? So imagine this. Ted Ginn had one thing. And that was, I'm going to beat you down the field, and I'm going to see how far you can go, and I'm going to go. Now, every now and then, he would go, and he had to. The cornerback had to respect him, right? So he bails out, and every now and then, he shuts it down and comes back, and he gets these. He could get a 10-yard out, 15-yard comeback round at will.
Yeah.
Right? Now, but he wasn't a great route runner, and he didn't have great hands. He dropped a bunch of balls. Olave's got all three. Great route runner, can take the top of the defense, and has great hands. He's very smooth. So, can you imagine him taking the top off the defense, having Michael Thomas on the other side getting open at will, so people can't ignore him?
Or their game plan.
You have Jarvis on the inside going the other way, and then you have the Olave going on top where the cornerback has to defend that. But then he's a great route runner, so you have to bail, and he's going to be open. It's going to be the offense is going to be fun.
The thing is if we can get health, and obviously health is huge for any team, right? But if you can get health, it's really, really, really hard if you say, hey, okay, we're going to take this guy out of the game plan this week, that there's not at least two more that can get you.
Hey, and here's the other thing.
Not like kind of get you dominate you.
Hey, here's the other thing. You have like since Jameis went down, you didn't have the deep ball, right? Like you didn't have it with Drew, you didn't have it with Jameis, and Alvin Kamara was still that effective. Now you have the deep ball and you have the stretch, length, like unbelievable.
Saves them a little too.
Hey, I'm just saying this. That's also why I think like at the beginning of the year, like if they can get those guys to come on quick and play well, like Jarvis and Olave, it won't really matter if Alvin's not there.
Right.
Right.
That's how much is going to be opened up for him.
How good can Jarvis be? I don't know if the recency bias of just how awful it was in Cleveland. We haven't seen much. Can we get Miami?
No. I don't think you can get Miami.
Well, because you're not going to get the volume.
Yeah, you're not going to get the volume. Like there's not enough pigskin to go around, right? I think he's going to be really good.
I think he's going to be. I think he could be a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah, I think that like what we saw Emmanuel Sanders do. I think Jarvis can do that, and then just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, just add on to that.
Because they're going to be like,
but I think he's at the place in his career now where like, hey, look, I'm going to be a part of something special. I'm back home. I want to win a championship. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm really good. I'm going to make the catches. I'm going to make the hard yards. I'm going to be your third down guy, and I don't care if I don't get 1,500 yards receiving.
Right.
Like I'm good with 850 to 1,000 yards receiving as your number 2 option or number 3 option, as long as have a chance to win a national world championship.
80 plus catches on the season or no?
Olave gets 80 plus.
It depends on. This is the first time we're not gonna have Sean calling plays.
Yeah.
So it depends on how they're gonna try to, if they're gonna limit Jameis on how many balls he throws the course of a game. If Jameis is throwing the ball 30 times a game, he gets 80 plus catches.
I'm honestly I'm thinking about it right now. I could see, just because of who Jameis is, like thinking about it, I could see this being a quote unquote statistically down year for Kamara.
Yeah,
like I could see that happen.
That saves.
Yeah.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying I could see that happen.
I can see Kamara having. Now that was the big thing, right? Is Jameis wasn't great at the check downs. He wasn't great at the underneath routes. Like he was a little inaccurate. He got better, but he was a little inaccurate. If he can improve that, I can see Kamara having the same type of receiving year that he's had in the past.
Well, I know the reason why I'm saying that is because like I think for the type of arm and type of person and personality that Jameis is, I think he's going to push these check downs more to the Jarvis and the Olaves when they're running underneath.
Yeah, well, they needed to give him help. I mean, you saw what happened to McCaffrey. Now, Kamara's been unbelievable. Like as far as he's been hurt sometimes,
he's
but
been
like
unbelievable health-wise.
He's been he's like for the amount of workload exactly.
He's been unbelievable.
But you see what happens to McCaffrey. McCaffrey is their offense, and he gets hurt every year because it's almost impossible to have that much producing that much and having that much, having the ball in your hand that much as a running back to stay healthy. Exactly.
I mean, how do you stay healthy?
I think it's going to be good. I think Kamara's going to, his numbers may be down a tick, but I think he's going to be more, I think he's going to be more efficient and more effective.
No, I think he still has a good year. I just think his numbers from what we're used to seeing may be down a tick.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Touchdowns might be up.
Another storyline would be Taysom is back in that weapon role.
Right.
Now you can put him in third down, run as quarterback.
I keep forgetting about that, but I'm thinking about, he's even someone that can stretch the middle.
I like to see Taysom wear some gloves though when he plays tight end. Let's put some gloves on there. Get a little extra tack. Okay, I don't like the no glove things.
Bro. He's a freaking baller.
Yeah, but I don't like the no glove things. I think he wore the no glove things because of playing quarterback. Yeah, he wore the gloves. Put the gloves on.
Quarterback for Taysom.
But he's open. He's going to outrun any type of.
Fuck yeah.
He is going to be.
He had this whole conversation and didn't even speak about it.
Did not even mention him. And now we're mentioning him.
We mentioned Deontay. Well, it's not Harris anymore. He changed
Hardy.
We mentioned him. We mentioned the other two guys, and we didn't even mention him yet. Think about that.
This guy runs a 4.4. He's a 230-pound tight end.
This is why I said, I hope he takes over that tight end spot because if he's stretching the field, it's not even fair.
I would like to see him in the backfield more.
I think that's possible, especially if they don't pull the trigger on another running back.
And if Alvin's hurt for a little bit,
and Alvin's out for those first 4 weeks.
Honestly, I know he fumbles, but can you not see him as a running back?
No, that's what he is.
He's like an H-back, just like an athlete.
Right.
He's
but
like
I get it.
Athlete,
any other H-back in the NFL can't play running back.
Right.
He can't.
That's why I say he's like an athlete, essentially in the NFL. He's a pro athlete.
I'm a huge Taysom fan. I don't think he needs to throw the football.
No.
But if you want to put him at quarterback and let him run, that's fine.
Flea flicker it with him one time.
Trick plays.
A little reverse pass
a little gimmicky stuff. But we went through the entire offense and did not mention him, and that's impressive.
I think he's gonna be a big piece.
If our offensive tackle that we drafted can not play past the whistle, apparently that was the big.
Handsy.
That was Mel Kiper's big knock on him is he plays a little past the whistle. Well, hey Mel, I'd rather hone that back than try to say, hey, you gotta play harder.
Yeah, Mel, take him to the fucking bus. Honestly, actually, take him out the stadium.
If he can catch on quickly as an offensive tackle, that is huge.
I'm sitting here thinking about this and I'm like, if you're a defensive coordinator, how in the hell do you scheme up for those weapons in that offense?
You're going to have to go – the only way you scheme is you're going to have to put pressure on him and see what happens when you put pressure on Jameis. Because you can't – if you're going to say, I'm going to play your shit, there's no way.
Well,
I agree, but if Jameis is any decent at playing –
and he got better.
That's way too many one-on-ones around the board.
You saw
in
his second game last year against Carolina.
Yeah, we were there. We watched it.
They started pressuring him, and he made some of those tough decisions, but – you saw him against Tampa Bay. He didn't do that. He started running the ball. Before he got
and that's the thing is Jameis can run better than people think he can run.
But look, I'll go back to this because you're 100% right on that. But all right, let's also go back to that game. We had Kamara in the backfield.
Right.
There was no Michael Thomas. What other receivers did we? What other real threats did we have?
Right.
We didn't. So it's. That pressure is more of a thing because we didn't have anybody getting open quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a real thing. So
put Olave one-on-one and Thomas.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And my thing is, do you really want to be pressuring this team with the weapons that they have?
Exactly.
You send pressure, that means you have to play man.
Exactly.
So that gives Jameis a chance to dump it off.
Well, it's going to be based off the team you play. If they match up well on the outside man coverage, they're going to put more pressure on you, right? And if you have But I think that's if you can get to him quick enough, then it doesn't matter if you're playing man or not. It's gonna be too hard for him to get. Now that's the adjustment that Jameis started making. Was okay. I either gotta get the ball out quick, or I gotta make I gotta say okay. He's not open. Run. He's not open. Run. Now you don't want him to go one read and run, but that was the adjustment that he made to be able to counteract all of the pressure. I mean, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun season.
It's just really hard if you think about it to go around the league and just think in your head. Where else can you find a pseudo number? I guess 2 or 3. You could flip flop them because I don't know exactly how they're going to play them. But like guys like Jarvis and guys like Olave who are going to willingly take that 2 or 3 role into an offense with this kind of weapon.
Well, then you have Marcus Callaway, who's I think in the number 1 he's not. That's not what you want. But as a 3, he's a great 3. I think
jump ball.
You know, like he put up some numbers last year, like he did, with an offense that was a shell of what they're going to be this year. I mean, this is the deepest offensive roster they've had in a very, very long time.
And they're doing it without Sean Payton.
And Sean Payton,
there has been this is his Twitter page right now. They've kind of announced that he will be going to Fox.
Duh.
It's been so.
So maybe that's the move, right? Maybe Drew is going to follow him to Fox, and they're going to be together so that Sean can open him up a little bit. I think Sean's going to crush it on TV.
I agree.
I think he's going to be because you see him on the way. If the way he talks on Twitter is how he's going to be on the air.
Using that personality,
it's going to be awesome because he is all over people on Twitter, and he's funny on Twitter. He's great on social media, and I think his personality is starting to open up, and I think he's going to crush it. He's gonna crush it. He's gonna be good.
So is that confirmed? Pretty much.
Well, Sean put it as his backdrop on Twitter.
Sean's backdrop.
So I think that pretty much confirms it. I think that pretty.
That thing or no?
I think that pretty much seals it. But